Welcome to the Minimalist Educator Podcast, where the focus is on a less is more approach to education. Join your hosts, Christine Arnold and Tammy Musiowski, authors of The Minimalist Teacher and Your School Leadership Edit, a minimalist approach to rethinking your school ecosystem, each week as they explore practical ways to simplify your work, sharpen your focus, and amplify what matters most so you can teach and lead with greater clarity, purpose, and joy.
Welcome back, everybody. On this week's episode of the Minimalist Educator Podcast, we're going to be talking about something that maybe we forget every now and then, and that is the aspects of teaching that is actually really good for us. So we hope you enjoy this episode.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Minimalist Educator Podcast. Today, Christine and I are going to be talking about some of the really great things about teaching and what's good for us in our teaching roles. So, hello, Christine.
Hello,
this is a nice one. This is a nice one to wrap up season 6 for sure. So,
It is.
Yeah.
I think, a lot of what we talk about on our podcast with each other and with our guests is about how tough this job can be and what we can do to make it a little bit less tough. And so sometimes the conversation can be like, oh my goodness, we're tired, we're exhausted, we're burnt out, we're struggling, we're stressed. So I think it is really nice to have a moment to go, actually, there are elements of this profession that are really good for us and are actually making us healthy and improving our well-being. So I think it's nice to take that moment to focus on that part.
Yeah, I agree. There's several things actually that are good for us. One of them would be that we move a lot. So if you're a teacher, especially, or working with kids, so many roles, like you are moving around all the time. So you don't really have the moment of, kind of like we do when we might have a restful weekend where we actually like sit and chill. This is the complete opposite, which is great. It keeps the blood flowing. It helps our brains to get the oxygen it needs. I imagine that a lot of teachers get over, I know there's some new research around the 10,000 step situation per day, because that is a lot of steps. But as a teacher, you can really, or someone who works in a school, you can max out that 10,000 steps pretty easily, depending on how much you move in your classroom, how many times you have to move your kids around, all those kinds of things. So how's that for you?
Yeah, for sure. I think we've all heard about the health risks of being super sedentary. And, I was just recently listening to this podcast. It was talking about all the health impacts of a modern life where people work in an office and they sit still all day. They go to a meeting, they're still sitting down, and then they go home and watch a screen or watch a little screen in front of a big screen, as many of us do. And we're just still so often, and it's just not what human bodies are meant to do. So whenever I hear those risks of being still for hours and hours on end, I do actually feel quite grateful that I have a job where I am literally up and down stairs. I'm getting on the floor, I'm standing up again, I'm moving constantly. I think it is one of a really good pluses to our work is that we don't just sit still all day. We are moving.
Yeah, same. I remember, especially in, our school in Singapore that we were at together, my New York school, we had stairs. So like that adds a lot, especially, like you're taking kids outside, you're going to the library, you're going down to the office, you're stepping out to grab something to eat. Like by the end of the day, your step count's like 12 to 15,000. And you're like, okay. And my day is like, it's 3 p.m. I still got to get home. I still got to move around in my own space. And I think that's helpful, especially when there's a lot of days when you just arrive and you're already tired just because sometimes you don't get enough sleep or you didn't sleep well or something. And the movement actually helps that, and even now, like when I wake up and I'm kind of like, kind of feeling a bit tired still, the movement helps. And that's why I like a morning walk, because that gets the blood flowing. It gets my brain a little primed for the day. And it just kind of pushes some of that tiredness to the side. So yeah, movement is a really good one. And I think we don't think about it honestly, like how much we do move during the day. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot.
Yeah.
Another really important plus, I think, is the social aspect of being in a school environment. So, there's a lot of commentary in the world at the moment about loneliness and how people feel really lonely and they're missing connection to others. And I think just by the nature of the school, you have almost non-stop human connection during the day, whether it's with your other teachers or leadership or support staff, parents, but your students as well. And some of these can be little micro interactions where you're just passing someone in the hallway, but others can be really meaningful, lasting connections that you have with your colleagues and with your students as well. And so, we're not alone in our work and we're not isolated. Even if you do just stay in your classroom all day, you still have your little people there in front of you as well. So that's another element of teaching that is really positive for us.
Yeah, I do think the importance too of socializing with different aged people too. So whether you're teaching like the little ones or middle or high school age, it's a different kind of interaction or socializing that you have than with your colleagues or your adult friends. And I think it makes a person a little like more well-rounded because you can adapt to whoever you're conversing with, just as we would if, you're talking to like someone who's a doctor versus someone who's an engineer or whatever, you have to have like different ways of communicating with people and kind of get in, not to someone's level, but kind of, right? Like, especially if you're like speaking to little people and they don't have the same vocabulary necessarily, but you don't want to talk like down to them because they're still people, but just matching where people are at with communications. And I feel like that's kind of a nice dynamic part of the job too, is that different kinds of interactions with different people at different age groups. Because I mean, if you're around kids all the time, like if you're a stay-at-home parent, let's say, and all you interact with is your kids, you get like really tunneled into that sometimes, right? And then the adult interactions are, if they're less, you don't have that same level of like cognitive matching almost, right? Where you can have like, I'll say a proper conversation that like makes sense and has coherence, or at least we would hope. But we need all of that kind of socializing to exercise our brains so that, we don't deteriorate.
That's so true. I hadn't even thought about that multi-generational part of socializing at all. Actually, our school is a K to 12, so we have 4-year-olds on campus, we have 18-year-olds on campus, we have student teachers that are at university still, and then we have teachers all the way through up to brand new teachers all the way up to about to retire teachers. So we literally can converse with people having completely different life experiences at any point of the day. That's a really good point. I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah, and like I don't know where else you would experience that. And what other job where would that happen?
That's true.
I don't think there is one, right? Because everyone else would be an adult in some age range. Like, sure, you would have, when you're working with adults, you're going to have generational differences or age ranges, but you don't go all the way down to your 5-year-olds on the same place as someone who's retiring, which is kind of interesting. That's pretty cool, actually.
It is, actually. I hadn't thought about it like that before, but that's true.
Yeah. And with school or with learning being a social interaction, basically, right? Like learning is a social thing. It can also be tiring as like someone who's somewhat introverted, but like drawing the energy from the people around you helps bring you out of that, I think, at least for me, right? Because like, again, sometimes when you're just kind of like into your own mind before you get somewhere, because getting somewhere is usually the hardest part. But then when you see the people around you, you feel like, okay, I'm ready to like talk to people, and like I'm ready to socialize with the people around me, and I'm looking forward to it. And it does bring such a richness to your day that you just don't have when you're working on your own or with a smaller group of people, I think, right? Because it's ongoing all the time.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, yeah, what you're really tapping into there is that it can be mood boosting being at school. We can actually have that shot of positivity and energy that comes from working with others, and hopefully laughter and curiosity that comes along with it. I know for me, for sure, because I work with little people, I mean, the amount of crazy, hilarious things that they say and do in the course of a day, that is for sure a mood booster. So I think that's another really good element as well, is that you can kind of feed on that positive energy in the school environment as well.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, some of the things that kids have said over the years, just like, random things or just silly jokes that they have and silly things they do or the things they bring to school. Like it's just that you can't not laugh at it. And so it does feel nice to be able to like think about those things and know like, okay, what's going to happen today that's going to just make me laugh and make me feel happy about being here. And also like this kind of ties back to you had mentioned before with with socializing and creating friendships, like you look forward to going to your school site to see some of those friends that you've created, right? Like your teacher friends. And so like, yes, you have the friends that you might vent to, but you have the friends that you start socializing with outside of school, which is something that we have done, right? And we have mutual friends that we remain close with. And there's just those certain people that when you look forward to, because you know that they're going to, like, you're excited to see them and they're going to bring your mood up when you get there. If you're not, you're not feeling that day or whatever, but it does help to have the people there that, like, oh, I'm excited to see Christine this morning because I watch this crazy zombie movie I need to tell her about, or something silly like that. Or just like the morning rituals that we had as a team too at our school, where we just got together in many times in my classroom in the morning and just sat together and chatted. And that was definitely such a nice uplift to start the day, to just come in with our coffees and have a little bit of time together before we kind of got into our planning and time with the kids. So yeah, great moments, lovely, lovely times with good friends, and just, sometimes it's that routine that you need.
It is. But I'm just thinking about all of the, research that they have out there about the importance of having friends at work. Like literally having besties in the workplace is going to make you, a more attentive worker and stay for longer in your position and try harder and things like that. So I think it's, we benefit from it, but it's an all around benefit, really, having friends at your work. And I definitely know, I would say a lot of my best friends that I've had over my adult life have been teachers that I've worked with or studied with at uni and things like that. So yeah, definitely an upside for sure. I think another one that when I talk to the friends of mine who are not teachers is they've reflected back to me that they admire that we have a job that has such a clear purpose. So sometimes people in other professions, they feel like, yeah, okay, I'm trained and I'm doing this job and I'm capable and I'm earning a salary, but like, what does it all mean? What is the purpose of all of this?
Right.
And I think education is one of those professions where it's obvious. It's obvious why we're doing the work that we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That part is a definite, because there isn't a person that I've met who's a teacher in a school who, regardless of if they're having a bit of a tough time, they're still like, but I want my kids to do well. I want the kids that I'm teaching to have a good experience. I want them to have fun. I want to have them be engaged in what we're doing. And that is so clear, which, yeah, that's such a good point. Like, do other people have, like, they know why they're doing the job they do, obviously, but what is the almost like the greater purpose of it? Right. For sure. Not to minimize other careers or anything like that.
No, not at all. But I've definitely had conversations with people where they've felt an absence of that. Like, yeah, it's a job. I can do it. I'm capable and I earn money, but why, And I think, when we've talked before about the ikigai, right? Where you've got all of these different elements that you need to think about, and purpose, knowing what your purpose is a huge part of that life meaning. And so we've got that built in to the work that we do.
Yeah. And I think that often extends past the school as well. Cause like, yes, we spend the time there and do those things, but then it draws us to other things like volunteering for like other organizations where, a lot of educators will be like, okay, well, I'm going to be like, our friend Michelle has a CASA kid who, he needs like a mentor and someone to work with him and have someone that's a stable adult in his life. And so, she does that. Or like, I used to volunteer a lot at the food bank in Singapore because that was a connection we had with our school. And then I was like, oh, I just really like, going there and helping out in the warehouse, making sure that there's like food stocked up and all of that. Because one of the things that I'm passionate about is like, well, for one, food waste, like that drives me crazy when we have to waste food, but also that, there's so many families that just don't have money to buy food. And so I was just very drawn to that. And having worked in New York City with a lot of kids who often didn't have enough to eat at home, and so they would eat at school, that was just something that I wanted to spend my time doing. And recently, though, because I've just been kind of split between places, I have found that that's coming back to me where I'm like, oh, I haven't like volunteered my time to like help someone else out because I've been doing work, right? Or building the business. But I think I need to like find out how I can help at a food bank or something. So like just connecting to that purpose of like, I just want to help other people, which is why we go into education, but just in a different avenue. So yeah, that's something that's been coming up for me actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got to figure it out. I'll figure it out soon enough. Soon enough. But that also, I guess that kind of leads into one of the other things that's a definite pro of being an educator is our ability to be adaptable. So no day is ever the same. So you can go into your day thinking you have your plan, but then something comes up and you've got to divert your course slightly. But that's a really important skill to be able to have and develop, because we can be very inflexible sometimes, like just generally as people, and that one just like made me
big reaction to that one.
Yeah. But like just in general, right? Like we can kind of resist change sometimes, and we can be like, nope, this is just the way things are and this is how I do them. But if that's how we are in our roles as an educator, we're just working against the system, right? Like, well, I don't want to say the system as like big picture things, but just like your everyday systems, we have to adapt because we're talking about, children and kids who don't have control of situations a lot of the time. And so it's us that has to be the person to like say, okay, yeah, let's just, make this slight change in the schedule, or okay, that didn't work for you this time, we're going to try this instead. So that's a huge part of the job.
Massive. You literally can never start your day knowing exactly what's going to happen for that whole day.
Yeah.
There's something very cool about knowing that and still turning up and handling it. So, I mean, when you're out and about in the world, if there's a problem, you do need to be able to, think quickly, adapt, be flexible, solve that problem, and keep moving. And so I think, we are all so well trained to be like that. If you've got a project to work on, get a teacher involved. Come on now. They'll get that done. They'll get it done.
Yes. And have multiple options probably because
it'll probably be real cute as well.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And look, if you pull this tab, this pops out.
I color coded it and everything.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Very flexible, very adaptable, problem-solving people for sure.
Yeah. Which I think we should pride ourselves in because, like I said, it's a skill that, we can kind of push against in our regular lives. We're like, nope, I'm not budging on that. But, why work against the grain? Right?
Absolutely. And I think linked to that, connected to that is, we will probably never get bored. It's very difficult to have a boring day when you're working in education because there's always just so much switching and changing and new ideas and new problems to solve and new things to overcome and
personalities.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's just not ever boring. And you don't know what kind of thing someone is going to bring to you in the morning, like not physical thing. Well, maybe a physical thing, depending on how old your students are. It could be a little worm, could be a little a dandelion, but it also could be like something that happened at home, and it could be a sad thing, a funny thing, something ridiculous, like who knows. But there's a lot of memorable days from teaching for sure.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite things about being a middle leader is very frequently someone will come up to me and say, "Can I ask you a question?" And I have no idea where that question is going. Like anything could come, It's really, it's exciting. You don't know what's coming.
Yes. Like, please tell me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fun. That's super fun. And it does make your job fun. So if you don't have fun, then,
That's a shame.
it's not always fun. Yeah, it's not always fun. Let's be real. But it is a lot of fun most of the time.
Do you know what I was just about to say, Tammy? I was so proud of us for making it through this episode of the benefits of teaching without going, yes, but.
I know. Sorry. Delete.
We almost made it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but it is a really fun field to be in. There's so much learning to do every day with people. And that's probably one of my favorite things too. There's a lot of favorite things, just like being with the people, the humor that you can have, the jokes that you can make with people, the learning from each other, just getting to know people from different places or different backgrounds and just from different experiences is lots of fun. just kind of like what we've been doing on the podcast when we have guests on, and like just hearing different life experiences from our guests. It's kind of like that too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, this was a nice little episode, Christine. What would you choose as your pare down pointer for, thinking about the goodness of being an educator?
Okay. Well, the thing that popped into my head is going to sound a little treacly. Is that okay?
Okay.
Can I be a bit?
Sure. Yeah.
A bit treacly? I'm sighing just thinking about what I'm going to say. I'm sorry, everybody. No, I really, I think being a lifelong learner is a really important and cool thing, and probably also really helps our brain as we age as well to keep learning new things. And I think being in education is such a rich profession for that. Education itself is always changing. There's always something new, some new research that's come out, or a new way of doing things that we're taking on board. But that community aspect as well means that you are always learning something as well. So that I know it sounds very treacly, everybody, but yes, that aspect of lifelong learning for many reasons, I think, is one of my favorite things, and the pare down pointer, I think.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one. I think mine would be, obviously I second that, but I think it's it's super important to be open-minded so that we can remain adaptable, right, and flexible. Because if you're not, you're just going to be grouchy pants, right? Like you're not going to have fun. It's going to feel negative. So just have that open mind to know that every day you go in there, it's a different day and things may not go as planned, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Like just be open to adapting to whatever the change is, even though, sometimes it feels hard, but you just got to do it, and you can do it. So, you've done it before, so just do it again. And yeah, just stay open to that. So I think that's one of the things that I would point out too. Thank you so much, Christine. This is a nice way to wrap up our season 6, which was a really successful season. We had a lot of milestones come up this season. So
we did.
Yeah, that's
we'll
really
still
awesome.
have the highlights episode to officially wrap up the season, but no, it has been a fantastic season of the podcast. Can't wait for season 7.
Yeah, crazy. Season 7. Woohoo. Looking forward to it.
This episode is sponsored by Plan Z Education Services, supporting educators with forward-thinking professional learning that puts both student impact and teacher wellness at the centre. Driven by a vision to teach less, impact more, they help educators find purpose, prioritise what matters, and simplify their practice. Learn more at planzeducation.com.
Thank you for listening to the Minimalist Educator Podcast. Join Christine and Tammy and guests again next time for more conversations about how to simplify and clarify the responsibilities and tasks in your role. If today's episode helped you rethink, reimagine, reduce, or realign something in your practice, share it in a comment or with a colleague. For resources and updates, visit planzeducation.com and subscribe to receive weekly emails. Until next time, keep it simple and stay intentional.